on 5 great cars: the compact Pontiac 1000, the exciting Pontiac 2000, the front-wheel drive Pontiac Phoenix, the rugged Jeep CJ, and the Motor Trend Car of the Year, the Renault Alliance. Monthly payments to fit any budget, but act now because this 8.8% rate is for a very limited time and available only at Don Meadow Motors in South Bend.
The Wawasee Drum and Bugle Corps presents Wawasee Pageantry of Music. See corps from 4 states, Saturday at Wawasee High School Stadium, south of Syracuse, Indiana, west of State Road 13.
Treat yourself and your family to beautiful Amish Acres. Enjoy a wonderful dinner in the 100-year-old barn. Tour the historic farm. Visit the shops at Amish Acres in Napanee. Phone toll-free for a reservation.
TV 28.
From South Bend, Elkhart, this is Michiana Tonight from NewsWatch 28. Ann Koenig's weather, Jim Squirkin with sports, Ann Nyberg and Bruce Dunbar with news of our region.
Good evening. A Mishawaka business was destroyed by fire early this morning. Authorities say within an hour, Michiana Pallet Company had burned to the ground. Francesca Stevens reports.
Firemen have reports that before they got here this morning, flames from the building were 20 to 30 feet high. Mishawaka Fire Inspector Larry Slayball believes the fire at Michiana Pallet Company on East Marion Street started at the company's breaker boxes. He says porcelain in the boxes has been reduced to dust, leading him to believe tremendous heat was generated in the area. Michiana Pallet made loading skids for forklifts and storage purposes. Company owner Bev Wagers says along with the building he lost lumber, nails, several pieces of work equipment, office furniture, and company records. He lives nearby and found out about the fire when his dog started barking.
And I got up to see what they was barking at, and I saw the fire. And when I did, I run over to the neighbors to call the fire department. And about that time, a pickup truck or something pulled in the driveway and said, I've done called the fire department, you know. So main thing, then I come over here, I figured that maybe I could save the forklift or something, and I unlocked the little door, and when I did, it just blowed up, you know, and got my arm, you know, here pretty good.
A lot of the efforts were concentrated on this building, saving this building. It is scorched quite a bit on the side, but the interior damage, as far as the fire is concerned, there might be some smoke damage, but as far as fire is concerned, they controlled it real well and more or less saved that building next door.
The only injury in the fire was Wages, who hurt his arm. Damage to the pallet company is estimated between $100,000 and $125,000. Wagers says he wasn't fully insured. He says he'll continue operations in Niles and Edwardsburg, Michigan, until he can rebuild. With photographer Ian Sendell, Francesca Stevens, NewsWatch 28.
LaPorte is called the city of lakes, but more than a year of flooding has made them enemies of the people. Today, Mayor William Angrick declared a truce as the city celebrated the start of pumping to lower water levels. Jack Kinsey reports.
Angrick told a group of officials and lake area dwellers that the lakes are again friends and allies of the city. He aimed his comments at the people who have learned to live with water lapping at their doors.
There were many days of traumatic experiences, and as they went through their various stages of discomfort and actual monetary losses, I shared with them in compassion those losses and those concerns. Thank you for being patient, and thank you for believing.
The plan uses a network of old and new drain pipes to remove water at a rate of roughly 1 foot per month. Lake dwellers say the system is their salvation, but that it wouldn't be here without Angrick's leadership.
He and his group found that this 5-mile pipe laying underground since the early 1900s was in reasonable condition that could take our waters down to the Little Kankakee.
More than 4 million gallons of rust-tinted water are draining into the Little Kankakee each day. In a few months, the lakes will be low enough to allow rebuilding. Complete recovery, some say, may be a year away.
Cleaning up the whole area, with all the debris, stumps, fallen trees, railroad ties from seawalls that are floating all over the place, and replanting the drowned out trees. This will take some time.
With photographer Pat Culp in LaPorte, Jack Kinsey, NewsWatch 28.
There's good news for area fishermen tonight. Indiana's St. Joseph River is dioxin-free.
Hoosier officials had become worried about contamination after water samples taken from 10 Michigan rivers, including the St. Joe, revealed the presence of dioxin. Dioxin is an industrial waste thought to be one of the world's most lethal chemicals. As a result of the Michigan study, sportsmen who fished the St. Joe in Indiana were concerned about whether it was safe to eat their catches. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources shared their concern, so they commissioned Ohio University to examine several types of fish taken from the river at Bristol and South Bend. The species tested included smallmouth and rock bass. The test results came back negative. That's good news not only for fishermen, but also for the state's coldwater fish hatchery, which is now under construction on the St. Joe River in Mishawaka. Obviously, the state didn't want to spend $2 million on a hatchery for trout and salmon and then not be able to use it.
Only a day after air quality monitoring began in South Bend, the air was judged unhealthy today by county officials. When the reading was taken this morning at the monitoring station near Notre Dame, it was 112. That is 12 points above the moderate category and indicates the air is in an unhealthy range. That means people with heart or respiratory problems should limit their outdoor activities. The contaminant causing today's problems was ozone, or the reaction of automobile exhaust and smokestacks with sunshine. The hot temperatures and stable air were keeping the ozone close to the ground. Air measurements in Indianapolis showed a similar problem, and forecasters there believe the unhealthful condition will persist through the weekend.
South Bend school administrators will receive what amounts to at least an 8% raise. The school board this morning set wages for other school employees as well. Administrators will receive a 4% increase in their base pay. In addition, they'll get another 2%, so teachers won't be making more than some of the principals. The administrators were granted yet another 2% increase to help offset professional dues. The board gave union workers, mainly bus drivers and maintenance employees, a 4% raise, and secretaries will receive a 6% increase. Superintendent James Scammon is among the administrators to receive the 422 raise, but 2 board members voted against the increase for him. Earlier this year, teachers agreed to a revised contract, resulting in a 5% pay hike. Ann?
Bruce, a hearing is underway right now in Indianapolis concerning Indiana Bell Telephone's request for a $96 million rate hike. The Public Service Commission is holding today's session to set up procedures that will be followed for further hearings that will be held on the rate increase. Bell filed this request back in May. It would raise basic rates for residential service by as much as $3 per month. Business customers will face hikes ranging up to $11 a month. However, along with Bell's rate request, long-distance calls within Indiana would drop about 20%.
The Ford Celebration 10 sale. Choose from over 1,500 vehicles at Basney, Jordan, Pete Paul, and E.B. Ford. See the 83 Thunderbird, LTD, 84 Tempo, and Bronco 2. 8.8 financing or cash rebates on selected models.
We've asked these Ford dealers to sell 500 cars and trucks. Ford credit personnel will help your dealers arrange on-the-spot affordable financing for qualified buyers.
Free refreshments open till 9 each weeknight. Some way, some price. We're going to sell 500 cars and trucks. Don't you miss it. Wednesday through Saturday.
Fresh changes from Hudson's White Sale. Change your dreams to one of comfort with debut pillows. They're washable and just $9.99 from Hudson's.
Sears complete wheel alignment at 40% off. Only $11.88. $11.88 for wheel alignment. Hurry, sale ends June 30th.
The Wawasee Drum and Bugle Corps presents Wawasee Pageantry of Music. See corps from 4 states, Saturday at Wawasee High School Stadium, south of Syracuse, Indiana, west of State Road 13.
The Indiana Court of Appeals has overturned the forgery conviction of a Warsaw woman. 39-year-old Judith Bean has already spent nearly 3 years of her 8-year sentence in the Westville Correctional Center. Bean was tried in Elkhart Superior Court, and after the prosecutor rested his case, she decided to plead guilty. Former Judge William Bontrager then advised her of the right she would be relinquishing by pleading guilty, but he apparently forgot to tell her of her right to have the state prove her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Bean then argued that because of the omission, her guilty plea couldn't be considered knowing and voluntary. The appeals court agreed.
School's out for summer, right? Well, not exactly. There's summer school to contend with for some of us, and in Elkhart, attendance is up almost 20% over last year. Francesca Stevens has details.
If you haven't been to summer school in quite a while, we've got news for you. Things have changed. Sure, the basics are still there, like math, government, English, and history, but there are other different courses, too, like a non-credit musical theater course. Enrollment here this summer tops 75 students, double what it was when it was first offered last summer. Then there are the increasingly popular computer camps. This summer, 15 of them are being offered. Each camp lasts 5 days for 2 hours a day. That costs $20. 283 kids are enrolled in the computer camps this summer, up from the 151 enrolled in the course last summer. Carolyn Cook is the principal of Elkhart Summer School program. She says she's noticed some kids are getting more interested in picking subjects that may help them get better jobs instead of choosing courses for learning's sake. There is one, well, you might call it an exotic course Elkhart Community Schools are offering again this summer. It's a one-month science course that costs about $200. Now, students get a full credit for taking it. The interesting thing is it doesn't meet here, though. It meets in Colorado.
The students come in to Memorial for 2 weeks, and they are taught some geology, the types of things that they're going to be expected to do on the trip. And then they are bussed out on a school bus. They're gone for 14 days. They go out to Colorado. They stop various places along the way, and there is a mountain out there that they hike up the mountain, camp on the mountain, and then come back down. The bus doesn't go with them on that.
Enrollment for all the summer school courses this year is up by about 450 students. Cook says the kids are here to try to pass a course they failed, get a subject or two out of the way to make room for other courses during the regular school year, or just for fun. With photographer Ian Sendell, Francesca Stevens, NewsWatch 28.
We've had a week full of 90-degree temperatures, and I'm sure that you'd like to know if there's going to be any let-up over the weekend.
Are you sure, Bruce?
I'm sure.
No let-up at all, Bruce. We have a hot and humid forecast for this weekend.